Despite dodgy weather and mechanical gremlins, spirits stayed high at Kames as the 2026 Iain Pinkerton Memorial Sprint hosted rounds 3 and 4 of the Scottish Sprint Championship. Iain Pinkerton was a cherished member of the community and a farmer who lived near Prestwick Airport. Marshal Alistair Reid said Iain was a great guy and shared memories of quote-unquote stubble tests, where Iain would invite friends in their cars to his freshly harvested field, an unconventional approach to tilling for sure. There were 3 juniors out on track, Jessica Harris and Stephen Connolly in the J1 Standard Car class, and April Blair in her junior rally car. Jessica was 6 seconds faster than Stacey Harris in the same car, clearly determined, and April Blair was impressively consistent on a tricky Saturday, also winning my vote for the best livery this weekend. It's Stephen Connolly's second event competitively, with new wheels on show he continued to find pace. This halted briefly on Sunday morning as his brakes seized, giving the start line marshals sore backs getting him lined up. A wholesome team effort followed from many in the paddock to get Stephen's brake unstuck. This weekend also qualifies Stephen to compete in hill climbs. Unfortunately, we had some audio issues for many of the interviews this weekend, but he told me that he's very excited to give Doon a go later this month. John Benny was the only runner in S1, his first time on track. John was driving his daily driver, a 2013 Suzuki Swift Sport. John was embarrassed to have been given the number 1 for his first ever go, but it just made the car look even better, though I may be a little bit biased as it is the exact model and colour as my first car, so it was very cool to see one on track. Ian Bright won Class A1 both days in his Honda Jazz. Graham Shee and John Hamilton only ran on Sunday, Graham taking his Fiesta to just 1.5 tenths off the class win. Stacey Harris ran both days. Granger Robertson led Class A3 on Saturday, with Fergus Moody second and the only runner on Sunday. Jonathan and Simon Baines were also here in their RS200 Cup, but seemed to be having issues as they only recorded 1 time. Kenneth Blair's GR Yaris looked very grippy as he won Class A3 on both days. 3 Cooper S's ran in A3 this weekend. Jim Howarth was fastest on Saturday, with all 3 coming within 8 tenths of each other on Sunday, David Wright fastest. John Welsh was quick and consistent all weekend, coming 8th and 7th overall. He moved his car into the paddock slot on Sunday morning and it stole his shoe as he got out. Thankfully, long arms solved the issue and the weekend continued to be as smooth from there. Alexander Clubb was also fast, about 8 tenths behind both days in his very clean Caterham R500. Ross was finding it challenging to get used to the manual gearbox of his new Cayman this weekend, missing the PDK of his old Boxster. It also got rather toasty and spat out a fair whack of coolant from the overflow.
Oh, hello, Cass. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you,
Good,
Manny. You
good.
continuing to enjoy your new car?
Aye.
Missing the Boxster at all, or
Oh, it's missing the Boxster, like, aye, definitely, because it was automatic, as you know. This changing gears is a bit of a pain for an old man, because I've got to remember clutches on the left, you see, okay? Clutches on the left, but no, a lot better a day, like.
You're needing to practice some heel toe then. Oh.
I definitely need practice, like, you can. But the brain's obviously fading slightly, okay, that's another thing. Okay?
Never.
But no, she's going well. No, it was a good morning, so hopefully today stays as it is.
Aye, yeah, I think this is good, to be honest. We'll
yes, aye. I mean, the breeze is helping the track, you see. Okay, so,
have you had any cooling issues since yesterday, or all good now?
Sorry?
Any cooling issues after yesterday? Or all good?
No, I didn't confide that was a bit of a mystery,
That's
like.
bizarre, right? Just fired it all out.
She just fired out a heap of water, and I get it a top up today, and then she seems to be alright, like. Seems to be alright, but we won't panic.
Yes.
We won't panic yet, like.
Well, thank you very much, Manny. Have a
No
good
problem.
day.
What happy.
Yes.
See you later.
You too. Dominic Matursky managed to pip Neil to the A8 win in the slippy Saturday conditions. Very impressive for an NC MX-5 up against a Cayman. They were split by only a tenth of a second. Dom was also fast on Saturday, in second just behind Neil Ross, over 5 seconds ahead of third place. The multicoloured NB MX-5 of Andrew Park and Ian Carr came third Saturday and Sunday respectively, switching fastest driver each day. Something about this car mustn't meet the specifications for the strictly controlled A9 class. Matt Gill ran both days in his MC MX-5, just 3/10 off Carr in third on Sunday. The A9 MX-5 class were on new tyres this weekend. Cars in this class are limited to a strict specification, including using the same tyres. The new Yokohamas were working well, with Saturday seeing 4 drivers faster than the 2023 class record. Mike King went fastest of them all with a 92.22.
So what have you done this weekend?
Well, what? As in like yesterday and that as well?
Aye.
Yeah, I broke the record yesterday, but there was 4 masses into the record yesterday. But I think it's a control tyre, you know, but I had 3 practice runs a day, so. Did you notice that?
Yeah, you did. I filmed your start from this angle, and that angle. I'll maybe lay them all up as a 3 or something.
But I'm disappointed you never got to Chinese when you were away there getting the Chinese.
I know. Yeah. if you'd have seen the downpour that hit us on the way there.
Oh yeah, you think it was so.
It was, yeah, we thought about driving, we're like, it's not that bad, it'll be fine, and got halfway and that's
it's always further than you think when it starts raining, isn't it?
Exactly. What time was it yesterday then?
82.2, no, 92.22.
Aye,
92.22, yeah.
That's pretty rapid. And before the record was?
93.67, but we've changed the tyres, so I think the tyres did.
Because everyone's sort of
The tyres did make a big difference to it. So I think the record was reachable with the old tyres, but because I went faster in the October one, so I knew the record was reachable in the old tyres. But yeah, the new tyres, yeah, what a difference!
They're like glue until
I'm
you
just
stop
glad. I'm just
working.
glad. I'm just glad David Wallace isn't here. That's all I'm saying.
And I found that
We
out.
all found out it was glue until they stopped working at the hairpin.
Yes, something like that, yeah. I went with his advice.
Yeah? What was
Mike said to me when we walked the track, Mike says, now,
I'm getting
as
blamed
soon
for
as you
that.
get out of this hairpin, you sink that foot.
Uh-huh.
I sunk the foot and the car did a 360.
Well, what I should have said is you sink it through and put opposite lock on.
Yeah.
But you missed that bit.
Well, thank you very much.
Alright, cheers.
Awesome, have a good
Right,
night.
see you
Thank you,
later.
Fiona.
Mike was also fastest on Sunday, son Blair getting more and more eager to drive each weekend.
You'd like to do this yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
What makes you wanna?
Well, I've been wanting to do it for years, watching Dad and Grandad go round, and I just kind of thought that's for me, so, you know, to get to do it next year would be really good.
Aye. So you think you'll be in it next year? Is that when you can get into the junior class?
Yeah, I'm wanting to do it next year. I think we are, and, you know, I've been doing Forest Burn junior days, so...
Yeah, the junior days look really cool. So what was it you got to do on there? Obviously you got to drive the car, but
Yes.
doing what with it?
So you just went round the paddock a couple of times, and once they thought you were ready, you could go on the track. So I was going about 25 to start off with, and then just got to 40 mile an hour and got confidence. So
Around the track?
yeah, around the track.
That's
So
have you got your eye on any specific car for coming in next year?
I think Toyota, the one that we're doing this year, we're keeping that one, and
Oh, so that one can run in J1? I didn't
yeah,
realise.
that's why we got it, because we're wanting to do that in J1 as well. So
Amazing. It's a clean looking car.
it is really clean. Yeah, I just need to put a few stickers on it, then we'll be good to go.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Blair. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
thank you.
you.
Donald Coulthard was second on Saturday, with James Coulthard in second on Sunday, only 0.04 seconds behind first place Mike. Rob Yule was just 2 tenths behind that in third, with an awesome slide on the way to it. Rob Yule Sr. was collected by the barriers on Sunday morning, giving the car a new silhouette that really suits it. Peter Waring was out in his Golf liveried Morris Mini, consistently finding time on each run. A cable for the ignition broke off just before lunch on Sunday, not the most difficult repair if it wasn't crammed into the front of a mini engine bay. Thankfully, with some flexible handiwork, Peter and paddock helpers got it sorted for the rest of the afternoon runs. Henry Simmons has been enjoying the freedom that comes with entering his Megane in the modified B3 class. Cars in B classes don't need to follow road specifications.
How are you doing? How's your weekend been? That's what people want to hear.
First class, yeah.
Yeah.
Been really good. Yesterday was fantastic. The weather was a wee bit mixed, but when it was good, it was good. And today, club's done fantastic, and with a couple of runs already, so yeah, all good. This.
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, excellent.
You're constantly looking quick to be fair.
The car's quick. Could do a better driver.
All been running fine as well, no issues?
Yeah, bang on. Yeah, really good. I'm really happy with the car. It's a brilliant car. And really happy being in that class modified. It's so much easier, and it's a bit more open with what I can do with it, and so I enjoy that too. So great, all good.
Awesome,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear.
Good.
Thank you, have a rest of your day.
Your pleasure. Cheers.
See you. I think I just said have a rest of your day.
Yeah.
I hope you have one.
Yep.
I do.
Well, I think the driver was running well. Henry came 10th overall on Saturday and 13th on Sunday, close to and ahead of some very fast cars. Brian Hunter was also planning to run in B3, but unfortunately had issues all weekend. The ECU wasn't working, so he replaced it, but then the car wouldn't go over 4,000 RPM. Hopefully some coding on the new ECU will have the car up and running properly for the next event. Craig Morrison was the only runner in B4 with his F27 Clubman, with an impressive 7th place overall on Saturday. Paul Lawrence and his M&R Vortex were with the single-seaters in pace, coming 3rd and 2nd overall and winning the B6 class by a large margin. I don't know how it felt in the car, but it looks extremely smooth trackside, making the rapid times look like light work for both the car and the driver. Paul told me that he couldn't tell me how it looked, as he had his eyes closed. Billy Lambie's XTR2 looks unique with its intercooler sitting in the roll hoop, the Westfield coming 3rd and 2nd in class.
The weekend's been going really terrible. Yesterday, nothing but trouble with the car. Various things happened to it all day. I got one run. It was a disaster. I got another run in the rain, which wasn't much better. That was yesterday. Today is sorted all the faults. So yes, we're doing well
It's
today.
going much better. I'm glad to hear. What was it that just everything go wrong?
There was a solenoid it had broken. There was wires loose. You name it, it happened.
All sorts. As you knew. So the intercooler, obviously I asked you about this yesterday, but is
Yes.
it just literally it's the only place you can put it, or you think it's
Aye,
sufficient?
no, it's only because it's the style of the car. It's the only place you can put it. You don't see many like that.
No, you don't at all. And you're happy with your times then, and once you finally got
Well, fair enough today. I've went a lot faster, but hopefully this afternoon. There's always hope.
It's almost getting brighter.
It's getting a wee bit warmer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's getting a bit warmer.
Yeah, so we'll hope for the best. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, right, thank you.
Thank you, have a good day.
Right, bye.
Ross Sutherland was just 7 tenths behind in 3rd on Sunday, his brakes another to bind at the start line.
We have a binding brake issue.
I can tell!
And Andy Bescaby survived a spin in his Phoenix on the way to 2nd and 4th in class. Mark Rennie was going fast enough for his car to complain, 13th and 16th overall.
We'll go off the way busy, Mark. Alignment.
What about 20 mil pull out?
20 mil. Well, there we go.
Sorry, the bumps here.
Can you give me the rundown again? What is it you've dealt with this weekend?
Yeah, so it was running okay yesterday. And then I wasn't really focusing on that, doing Mike's car, but then did the last run, and then for whatever reason I decided just to do a quick check, which was probably the worst thing I ever did. And then found that the ball joint was hitting the disc on one side, the ball joint was knackered on the other side, then the lower steering column UJ was knackered on the steering, which I could have dealt with, and then a wheel bearing on the near side had gone as well. So it's all kinda fixed. Good enough.
You've put it all back together now, it's just making sure it's straight.
Yeah, see how we get on. Like, yeah, I'll try and take this tour out problem and then see how we get on, like, you know.
Awesome, well good luck. You were fast yesterday, and if it keeps getting warmer, you never know.
Well, that's it. Like, I'll be happy just to come home in one piece, to be fair.
It's always a bonus, isn't it?
You know, just everything attached to the car, I'll be happy.
Alright, exactly. Well, thank you very much, Matt.
Alright, cheers.
Good luck for the rest.
Alright,
Once he fixed his alignment, he got to a speedy 84.16, and he did indeed go home in one piece. Mike Murchie's Fiesta was having some fuel flow issues on Saturday, and the usual paddock helpfulness was seen to get the car up and running quickly though. Alan Ramsey's low-slung imp looked a bit like a video game graphics glitch at the right angle, the only runner in C1 all weekend. Chris McDade started his first run well, then immediately ran out of fuel, having forgotten to fill up. The speedboat fuel tank in his Hillman imp is an awkward shape, so it isn't forgiving with fuel levels. The start line must have been cursed for Chris this weekend, as his immobilizer also delayed his first timed run on Sunday. New brakes and tyres made each lap learning, but he kept the car on track and got faster with every run. Scott McWhirter's Clio Audi was unfortunately full of mechanical woes this weekend, as seen at Doon, only competing one timed run and not at pace. Scott and Leslie Sheridan's Force TA was running warm but running fast, with Scott winning the class on both days, second fastest overall on Saturday and third on Sunday. Not without incident though, Scott going off once each day, gladly without large damage on either occasion. The second off claimed a diffuser fin. Paul Rhodes was second in class both days, 4th and 5th overall. His Force TA now running methanol fuel. Methanol burns clear, making it dangerous for marshals who might not know if a car is on fire.
Is this the ad glue to make it burn and colourful?
That's right, this is the colour in it, which gives it a smell when it burns and a colour.
Yeah.
I think it's orange. It's actually mandated that you have to do it. If you don't do it, then you don't. Then you have to also put on that orange sticker, as you probably realise. That's for to let the marshals know you're on methanol. And so, do you know the treatment for methanol poisoning?
No.
Ethanol, alcohol.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's not a bad treatment, is it? You should get
No.
that more often.
Stuart Hafton has rebuilt his Jedi from the chassis up and has been enjoying getting to grips with it on slick tyres this weekend. There were some flappy paddle issues on Saturday, which he got sorted for Sunday to find a 4th in class. Absolutely a result to go home proud of. Tom Graham, Stuart Mather and John Bunting completed the class. Roy Munro was 5th and 4th overall, the Munro's Force PT the only car in the C5 class. Roy told me it was the first event he remembers in 7 or 8 years where the car has just run smoothly without any issues, leading to a very pleasant weekend. Stuart Sugden and co were playing with brake bias on their way to the fastest time of the day for both days. The car was having issues with cutting out, and the team couldn't quite find out why. Stuart also went off on Saturday at the first corner, thankfully too slow for major damage as he hit the tyres head on. He told me the start was dry, leading to a little too much confidence into the damp first corner. Stuart also made a touching tribute to the late James Stronach in his fastest of the day speech. Terry Deer's Sunbeam Lotus looked very cool sliding its way out of each corner, winning the D1 class on both days and finishing Sunday 15th overall. The rear-wheel drive hatchback was produced for 2 years from 1979 and is based on a Hillman Avenger. John Moore's Anglia came behind in second Saturday and Sunday. Ian Crockett and Colvin Howie traded third and fourth over the weekend. Three pre-war Austin 7s were out across the weekend, Peter Allport only running on Saturday and fastest, with Alistair Reynolds fastest on Sunday. Paul and Anne Harris completed the group. James McAnally was in the rally car class with a very nice 205 GTI, its suspension looking very different to those set up for sprint and hill climbing. The Carpark had some interesting cars too. Commentator Brian introduced me to Jerry.
This one, this coupe up in the car park there.
Ah!
It is a cracking motor.
Well, tell us about it.
Well, it's
You're in it now.
1932 Ford Vicky, 4.6 litre Rover, fuel injected. Just repainted it last year, so just out and about in it.
What made you go for it?
Really like them. Just the shape. It's the shape. It doesn't matter what's under. I've had that one close to 20 years now. The previous ones, I've got a 1928 Model A pickup as well, hot rod, and then I've got a mid-engined 1928 Model A beach racer with 3.5 litre supercharged engine.
I didn't know it existed. It did them back then.
Well, it's based as a replica of a Bonneville salt flats racer. So you sit in the engine bay right at the front, and the engine 3.5 litre direct.
I can see
behind
why. You would just keep chatting for hours, wouldn't you? It's too fascinating.
Yeah, midget as well, MG midget, supercharged.
Come on, Jerry.
I've had that since I was 20. I rebuilt it and got a supercharged engine in that one as well. And I've got a bubble car. 197 cc's of pure power.
That's a good mix. Are you just here to spectate then?
Just here to
spectate.
Just here.
Have you driven here before, or are you not interested?
No, I wouldn't mind. I've been round it, but we'll see. I retire this year, so maybe get the midget out for a blast. But we'll see.
I look forward to seeing it. So then, how's your weekend going, Brian?
Cold?
Yes, even in the box.
Yes. Yes. It's been interesting, but the weather has taken the edge off a wee bit.
Yeah, it's been nippy today.
From paddock teamwork keeping everyone on track to lap records and touching tributes, it was a memorable weekend on and off the track. Congratulations to all those who achieved personal bests, and thank you to the organisers, officials and marshals who make the events happen. Eyes now turn to the next event, Hell Climbs at Fintry on May 23rd and 24th, with the next sprints at Golspie on the 6th and 7th of June.